Hello, everyone. Welcome to Summer Concert 2023. I know it's already September, so we are not really in the summer, but I would like to celebrate your great, diligent job that you did. And all of you learned a fantastic repertoire. And now we are going to hear each other music and musical pieces. Plus, we will talk a little bit. This will be a musical talk show. The main topic of our concert is that we all like different kinds of music. It doesn't have to be classical music. It can be jazz, it can be rock, it can be contemporary music, it can be electronic music. The question is, which element attracts you to certain styles? Why do you like something and why you just don't like something? It just doesn't talk to you. So we will hear some nice answers and interesting thoughts about this topic. But before the thoughts, we start with music. Our first performer is Kathy, and she will play for us two pieces. And now, let me just share my screen. So please mute yourself while we listen to the music.
I will be playing Streets and Alleys by Sarah Watts. I will be playing Beauty and the Beast. Thank you.
Oh, it was beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, thank you, Kathy. And thank you, John, for the recording. Yeah.
Directorial debut.
So, Kathy, tell us your thoughts about this music, what you played, both of them, especially the Sarah Watts piece and then Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, you want me to start with Sarah? Sarah Watts. I didn't really like playing it, and I understood why you wanted me to play it because how it was musically set up and how what I could learn from the minor keys. I particularly like to hear. I don't usually listen to that sound, and it felt a little bit sad. You know what I mean? As I played it, and then when I hear music, I like to hear it give me energy, depth, and just fill the whole room. For this, I felt like, oh. And it's like slow, and like, but it's very calming, and um, and I liked hearing the sound of it, and I learned about Sarah Watts that she had written a lot of music um, for people to learn different things on it, and I hadn't been exposed to her before, so I was actually glad I played it. You know, I'm glad you made me play it.
I'm glad to hear that.
My teacher, I do what my teacher tells me.
I felt like I'm torturing you with this minor sound, and you are really a major sound person and sunshine and energy and let's dance. And I gave you this piece. Like, okay, now calm down. And it's about sadness. Yeah.
But you could play that at night. And when we were talking about it, I said, "Oh, my husband would like to hear me play at night just to have." And you said, "I have an idea." So that's what you. So yeah,
Yes. And what about Beauty and the Beast?
I love Beauty and the Beast because it just brings the memory of my daughters being 6, 7, 8 when that movie came out. And as a mother, thinking about them that someday they will meet their prince. And so it just brings such music, brings such, brings memories to your heart and soul. So I really wanted to play that in just that particular format because you can really hear the words. Um, and you can hear the melody pretty very strongly. So um, that's why I liked it. That's why I really wanted to play it. So it's always, it's such a
Oh,
classic.
that's
I'm
so beautiful. You know what? I put you on the screen. I just realized that we can go like this. So, what about your favorite musical style or genres of music? Do you have a favorite composer or, I don't know, a band or a time period?
I don't. Um, I like music. I like hearing the piano when all of a sudden I'm doing something and it's just this deep sound, the clarity of the notes just goes, oh, I like that. So I don't know who it is that's playing, but I like that. And that's why I really appreciate having you as my instructor because you're a classical teacher and music is taught fundamentally classically. So I'm learning about classical music, which is something I always wanted to learn. I don't like put on classical music. I don't like, oh, let's go listen to some Bach. No. but all the pianists that fun pianists are really learned classically. So I'm really appreciating classical music. I do love jazz. I love to listen to somebody play jazz and just watch them groove. So
Especially
that's
jazz piano or big bands, small
I
combos.
I love it all because
Oh.
I appreciate what they do. And you watch how much fun they have, and their spirit that they bring into it. And then they tell you a story afterwards. Like so, there's a lot of rhythm in jazz, which is not my forte, but I have the appreciation of jazz. It's fun. We went to a jazz place or a jazz restaurant a couple times, and they were nice events. So
Yes, and I can see how you talk, like you are moving all the time and rhythm is there. So I know that you are dancing also. And not only dancing, but you play music for your grandkids. You play music for yourself. So tell us, how can you incorporate these different styles of music into your life?
I think by learning the fundamentals of what I'm learning from our classes and the different pieces, that I'm able to look at, like the kids' songs. I can break them down since I've been taking lessons. Like, I want the kids to learn. I want the kids to hear music when they come into my home. I want them to just like, Grandma, could you play this? You're like, okay. Old MacDonald won't be hard. You know what I mean? Okay, start to sing. So you're right, Nora. I do. I enjoy all types of music. Truthfully, all types of music. The violin, maybe not so much. I'm not. And the
Well, it
organ.
depends. It depends. Yeah. I had the same with oboe. Uh, when beginners start to play this instrument, I'm like, oh my God, just keep practicing and you will be great. But the first steps are really, really difficult. Yes. Yeah, that's it. And when you dance for which kind of music? I don't think
Probably.
it's classical.
Well, it's probably the latest rhythmic. They would be rhythmic songs like Bruno Mars because he has a lot of rhythmic. Um, Lady Gaga has some, but it would have to be certain because the beat is easy to pick up. So, and I've been doing that since in my early 20s. So it just kind of just comes out.
Yes, great. And every time when we do the rhythm exercise, my students know what I'm talking about. And now we put the metronome on 30 and let's go. At the moment when you start to move, the rhythm exercise is just easy.
Getting in.
Movement, so important.
Yeah. But if I hear it with my body, then it just comes, because that it just goes.
That's genius. I hear it with my body. I hope you're taking notes. Like that this is something that's I will remember that. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for your wonderful music. It was so nice to listen to you. And thanks for your thoughts and sharing your musical life with us.
You're welcome, and thank you for teaching me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
All our lessons.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. So now, yeah, I can do this. Now we are going to listen to Mozart Sonata played by Gregory. Yes. So from Beauty and the Beast to something completely different.
was wonderful. Just, I loved it. Thank you so much. It was lovely.
Amazing. Yes. Gregory.
Yes. I'm glad that's over with.
Thank you. Wow. Nice. Your phrasing is just amazing. It's like, every time and we are at the end of it. Oh, so nice. Great. So please tell us, what do you think about this piece? How was the process when we learned it? How does it feel to play it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, as I say, I'm relieved it's over with. Yeah, it took a long time. How long was I working on it? 6 months, maybe? It was,
It's not so long.
I don't know. It seemed like a long time. But yeah, no. It's a piece, when you might visit somebody who has a piano, when you look through their piano music, a lot of people have Mozart sonatas, and C major, F major, I suppose are the easiest ones. And you might, I've been looking at that sonata many, many, many years, but never really learned it. So I'm glad I did. Well, I mean, it's just the first movement. I'm working on the second movement now, but yeah, yeah, there were lots of wrong notes, but anyway.
Lots of long notes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when we started learning this piece, first we analyzed the whole thing, the sonata form.
Yeah.
When do we modulate? And at the end, we just don't modulate. Same thing in a different key. And you did great. You didn't modulate at the end. And it's like, yes, you played the ornaments. We had a lesson only about ornaments, because it's always a huge question. Is it a mordant going up or down, or you started above or below? Whew. So great, great job. Yes. And we continue with the second movement. When you said these are the easiest Mozart sonatas, I cannot say that Mozart sonatas are easy, because they seem easy when you look at the music sheet. It's just triads in the left hand, little scales in the right hand, and we are done. And then he starts to create his phrases and double function notes, and yeah, the trouble starts.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't mean to say it's easy, but it's easier than many of the other ones, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I've never played any of the other ones, so I can't really say, but I've listened to some of them and looked at the music, and I think, not there yet.
Not yet. But we are in the right direction. And do you have a favorite composer?
I don't. Same answer as Kathy gave. I don't have a favorite composer, although I do like Mozart, and I also do like Haydn. And it's kind of the same thing that I like about both of them, that they're both kind of humorous. They're kind of playful in their music. I like that. And yeah, and I kind of like music that's a little bit more visceral, that makes you feel something. Like Shostakovich is interesting, but you kind of I have to have it explained to me, and it's not like I have really strong emotions about it. So I like probably more from the classical or the romantic era. If it's classical music, and of course I like swing. I'm a swing dancer, and so I really like music from that era as well. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And talking about swing dance, this is my next question. I think it was 2 weeks ago when you mentioned that you go to a dancing event, and you found mind mapping for steps for dancing movements.
Right.
So let me just show you a mind map, what Gregory showed me. Voila. When I saw this, I was like, okay, how is it helpful? How can we use this? I don't understand a word. So tell us, can you use it?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
How?
I mean, that's somebody else's mind map. So I think it's difficult to use somebody else's mind map. You kind of have to make your own, map your own mind, or you can do it in groups. I've done one time I was in a group where they said, okay, here's what we're going to mind map, and everybody contributed something. And that worked very well, making like a group mind map. But I think working from somebody else's mind map, unless you're really into their mind, it's not going to work for you. Kind of have to do your own.
Yes, you need to read their mind. Woo.
Right,
Interesting challenge.
right, right.
And when you do a group mind map, it's one map made by several people.
Yeah, I only did it once, and it was a long time ago. It was I worked for a short time teaching English, and it was some technique somebody said you could use, so we did that, and it worked. Everybody in the class, I forget what the subject was, adverbs or something very boring, and everybody contributed something. So yeah, that worked. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I tried it with the jazz standard. Well, my mind map looked beautiful with colors and shapes and everything, but well, after 2 days, I did not really remember. Maybe I didn't do it in the right way. I don't know. I'll do it again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you probably have to focus. I mean, I don't do it much. It just happened to come up, as Nora says, about 2 weeks ago, and I'm in lots of chat rooms with dancers, and somebody just sent out this mind map and a little article about how to make mind maps for dancing. And I know Nora's interested in all these esoteric things, and so I told her about it, and yeah. We'll see how it goes. I did do it. I went to a workshop last weekend, and I said, okay, I'm going to be open-minded about it, and make a mind map. Rather than usually I make notes of the things they teach, but I mind mapped it. And I did notice when I went dancing this week, I was practicing this new material more than I normally do. So maybe it had to do with the mind map. I don't know.
Dear students, be prepared. We all will do a mind map. That's the mission for next week. Yeah. Everyone is smiling. Ooh, we started a snowball effect. Okay, nice. So when you listen to music, it's Haydn, Mozart, or swing music. What else you listen when you just listen to music?
Oh, I just listen to music. Yeah, listening to music is more swing direction. Yeah, that's what I mostly listen to. I go on Spotify or YouTube, and yeah, but it's usually in conjunction with dancing. Like I'm researching, looking up some dance step, and then the music that goes along with it.
And when you hear this music, you start to move immediately and think about moves and steps.
Yeah, probably I do. I'm not really conscious of that, but I probably do. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, great.
yeah.
Thank you, Gregory. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Mozart sonata
for
was
helping me learn this sonata. It was really something.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a milestone.
Yeah,
And we continue with the second movement.
right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you.
I try to remove this pin. Yeah. Okay, and now we continue with something completely different. I tried to mix your videos in a very colorful way. So our next performer is Merit, and she will play for us 2 pieces. Bravo, bravo.
Well, comparing to everyone, I feel like I'm the most amateur in the team. That was the best I could do. So comparing to Gregory's 6 months, that was my 6 months, and I still had a lot of errors, but yeah, I'm still happy with it.
Oh my God. No, no, and no. First of all, I love your new hairstyle. That's just so
Thank you.
great.
Yeah,
And piano playing is improving. It's not something what you can learn overnight. And remember when we started this piece, the English dance, it's full of double notes. It's faster. It's more complex. You did great.
thank you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
A little note on the English dance and how and why we kind of chose this. I recently became British citizen, and that piece was what we were trying to finish before my citizenship ceremony. It was like a little celebration for my new citizenship, so that was why it was English dance. Yeah, it was one fun note about that.
Yes. Yeah. And we succeeded, right? We learned it before you received, or it was just at the same. Yeah, it was so nice. So tell us about the journey. while learning these pieces, how did you feel? What did you think? Anything what is connected to the learning process?
I mean, I as the style of the music, I like etude more than the English dance because it gives me a more emotional feeling. English dance is a bit more like dynamic. And I was always telling Nora that it gives me the feeling that we are in the 60s and I have this big dresses on me and playing the piano in a like a public house or somewhere. Like that piece is giving me that feeling. I think the name as well, English dance, is like a tavern or something, like a pub feeling. But etude is more like a very soft, gentle music that I can play during the day when I feel like I need a 5-minute break. So I personally prefer those kind of things because I am a very emotional person, and music is something I use to reflect my emotions. Which I'm gonna answer one of your questions, which kind of genres I like or not. I don't have a specific genre that I like. I like anything depending on my mood. I think I kind of connect the three things, the things that I see, the things that I taste, and the things that I hear. They are like very connected for me. So like the music I'm listening to should match whatever I am eating or whatever I'm seeing. Like if I was in Bodrum and we had this beautiful sunsets and it was good jazz or chill music on the background with a nice Aperol spritz with the nice sunset. Like that is a combination for me. So that is why I don't think I have a specific genre that I like. It is totally related with my mood or where I am. If I'm on a journey, I'm listening something else. If I'm cleaning the house, it's something else. If it's early in the morning, I try to play a soft piano or some like a calm music to make me start the day. So anything really. It changes throughout the day.
That's so interesting what you're saying. What you taste, what you hear, what you feel, they are all connected. And when there is no harmony between them, one element, it's just not matching. It's just not good. No, well, that's why you don't like, but maybe in another situation, you would prefer this kind of music. Yes. Yeah, I hear you. Yes. And another thing, you are trainer, instructor, or gym instructor?
I'm training to become training to become a personal trainer.
So what I wanted to say is that sport is a very important thing in your life.
Yes.
And we often talk about the connection with sport and music and piano playing. So tell us a little bit more about these thoughts.
I think they are very much similar by means of the discipline, and also when they say practice makes perfect, it applies to both sports and both music. You have to practice a lot, train, exercise a lot to be able to achieve a goal. They are different things, but I think in my life they are very similar in that sense. Like I'm doing deadlifts and I'm having lifting like 3-digit numbers. But in order to get to that point, I practiced a lot in the past. The same for piano as well. In order to be able to record this for the recital, I had to practice several weekends. Or, I mean, I might not be spending as much time you guys are spending, but within the limited time, even though it is 1-2 hours a week, that practice adds up, and at the end you're able to achieve something. So in that sense, I think sports and music are very, very similar. And another thing is the muscle memory thing. like if I give a break to lifting for a couple of weeks, which I did, I was on holiday, I didn't do anything for 10 days, say, but it can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. When I go back to lifting again, my body will remember what I was doing. I might not be able to lift as strong, but it will remember what I was doing before. It is the same for piano as well. I give a break, but I might not be playing that great, but my fingers remember, oh, actually it was that note, it was this, so my fingers remember where they should go. So in that sense, I think they are very similar. And I have shared one thing with Nora in one of our lessons, that the archery guy. So this is a young Turkish archery. No, I don't know how you call it. Archers. I don't know what you call it. People at archery.
Archer.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
An archer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy Mete, he is the gold medallion in Olympics, and he is also the world champion. And we were reading about how he managed to do this, because he's very young and he's at that age where he
How
was
old
able
is
to
he?
do. I think he is around 17 or something like that. He's
Oh,
like very young.
wow.
And we were reading how he did it, because all of a sudden he was very, very popular in the country. And one of the things that he was doing to improve his eye and hand coordination was to play piano. So actually, when we are doing training, we tend to limit ourselves within the aspects of that sports industry, like lifting, but I'm also doing cardio. I'm running, I'm rowing, I'm skipping, but actually we don't make the connection with any other things. But I really like that this guy actually specifically taking piano lessons in order to improve his hand and eye connection. So I think that was a very interesting thing to read about.
Yes, it's eye-opening for me, actually, because as a pianist, I didn't really do a lot of sport. I was like, I need to take care of my hands. I don't move. And then I realized that doing just a little bit of jogging is changing my way of focus on the piano or seeing the keys. It's changing my sight. It's super, super important. And as you said, just look out of the box. It's not piano playing and it's not music and it's not only classical music. The things are connected and it's wonderful.
I agree.
Yes. And what do you listen when you are in the gym?
Well, recently I'm listening Barbie songs. I'm just Ken. That is what I'm listening for
Okay.
the last couple of weeks. So it is like it depends on the mood, the time, and everything. I really like 90s pop. So I am not listening anything that gives me power. I am listening things that I can repeat and sing in my head. So sometimes it is Britney Spears or Backstreet Boys, or recently it is Barbie. But sometimes it can be anything dark as well. It really depends on my mood. I don't have a gym playlist really. It's yeah. It depends.
All right. The Barbie song. I like that.
Yeah, but obviously you're not showing to anyone. It's hidden, secret. It would be very embarrassing to show people that I'm lifting with. I'm just Ken. No.
We won't tell to anyone. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And when you can sing something in your head, can you play it on the piano or you try to play it on the piano?
I do actually, yes. I think my hearing is better than my sight reading in that sense. When I have something in my mind, I can easily, like 80% find what it is. So I do it. Like we watched this Tetris movie very recently, and I was like trying to figure out what that is. Or when we watched Mario as well. I was just trying to the Mario music. I do that, yes.
Yes, and the fun fact about marriage process is that she learns the piece by heart before we polish it. So when I'm saying, you know, in this fifth measure, there is this finger, she's like, oh, wait, I open my music sheet. And for me, it's fascinating. For me, I need to work on the music sheet. I need to see it and I can play it. And you are like, I know, I actually know it by heart.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that I can play perfectly, but when I try to read and play at the same time, I make mistakes. So I just play by hearing. It just feels easier to me.
So interesting. And the Archer guy just did the piano because of the eye-hand connection.
Yeah.
Okay, we unlocked something.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Marriage. Thank you.
Thank
It's
you,
always
Nora.
a pleasure to talk to you and to listen
Thank you,
to you.
everyone. Well.
Thanks. All right. After all this sport and different styles and composers, finally we reached one of my favorite composers, Bach. So we are going to listen to the aria from the Goldberg Variations, and Renata will play it for us.
Hey, okay, we made it in time. A friend of mine playing the piano at a recital.
I have said nothing. I can do nothing.
I think I'm in the wrong place. I'm losing my sense of direction now.
I was muted. So fantastic. Goldberg variations. Oh my God. Oh, oh, oh. So thank you for this beautiful music and the beautiful video and recording. It's so good. And my first question is, tell us about you and Bach. Because I remember when we started learning a two-part invention, it was the G major. Every time when I said, okay, Renata, now let's work on the Bach, you were like, oh, okay, let's do it. And then you went to a concert and you listened to the Goldberg variations. This piece lasts more than an hour and you did it twice. So even for me, I need to be prepared.
I'm going again.
Ah, yes, you did it together. Yeah.
Gonna be dragged along.
So what made you change your mind about Bach? Because after this concert, you were like, I want to learn this piece. It's so beautiful.
I don't know if I've completely changed. I'm halfway in, halfway out. So with the inventions, it just felt like it was a classroom lesson in showmanship, and then you have this polyphonic stuff, and one hand's doing this, the other hand. I just found that just very hard to do. It just feels like my brain's trying to go in two different directions. I found it very frustrating. So it just felt like it almost took the emotion. I always felt like I couldn't get an emotional connection to music. So focused on that. So why this one, I can't say. I didn't know the Goldberg variations until we got tickets.
Oh, wait, we cannot hear you very well, or at least I cannot hear you very well.
Hear me now?
Yes.
It's my Yeti. Is that okay?
Yes, sometimes it goes in and out. It's
Okay.
Technology. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that I learned that I think I've just heard the piece more because we're going to the but in prepping that's where I first heard the album. And of course it 30 variations.
Wait, I think we had some internet. So the Goldberg variation was more emotional and it just talked to you. So that's the element that seems attractive for you. It's singing. It talks to the heart. It can be like a little bit moody, even if it's in major. Surprising. And what is the other piece that you will play for us after our little talk show?
Moonlight Sonata.
Yeah.
So I was maybe it's apologies in advance because everybody knows. And I was doing 4 pieces this year, and they're all going at different rates. And strangely enough, picked up the Bach lost, and for some reason, just because it's just went very quickly. The other 2 haven't gone as quickly, and I think. And then Moonlight Sonata we decided to do, and it's been interesting because I first learned it when I wouldn't say learned it. I was first forced to play it when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I've revisited it a number of times, and it's just interesting how every time how you can get more out of it, do more with the piece. When I first started lessons before, there were 2 things I could play for Elise and did them in and we did it the first time. But when I played it the first time, I always felt that because of the repetition, and then you can be like, and it was just really interesting. Back to it, learned a bit more. So you actually connect with it and analyze it. Maybe get a little bit more.
Yes, and I remember when you told me that oh, I'm listening to all these recordings and they play it so well and they play all the Beethoven sonatas. It's something. Yes, these pianists, they learned it at their childhood and then in their teenage, and then they decided to record it. There are some pianists who record all the Mozart sonatas, Beethoven sonatas several times. And then at the end of their life, they're like, when I was young, I played it like this, and now I'm wise and I play it like that. It's so interesting. I have never listened to two series from the same pianist because it's just, yeah, Beethoven composed a lot of sonatas. And do you have a favorite composer?
No, maybe I just gravitate to different types, certain types of music where there is like there's like I don't know, maybe some sort of connection to get with it. I suppose I've always liked Beethoven. A lot of his Beethoven pieces to play. But then I never thought I'd be able to play Chopin. So we started playing. I quite like his music. But I mean, I guess you get limited a bit by the.
Oh, I'm so sorry. After Chopin, I couldn't hear you.
No, I just said that with Chopin, it's just varying. Well, I guess it's just varying. So like his music.
All right. And another question. So you are the queen of podcasts. You come up with a different podcast idea like every week. Nora, did you listen to this podcast and this podcast? And they're so interesting. So now is the time. Please tell us, how do you find these podcasts? Why do you choose the ones you listen to? And what are the most interesting ones for you?
I just Google. Well, not Google. I just search for it on Spotify and see what's there. I think when you're learning a piece, listen to it over and over, but it's get someone else. So that's kind of that's why I started doing the podcast, because there's quite a lot out there. I mean, varying qualities. The interesting ones that I've found are Andres Schiff did a recording at Wigmore, done all of the big. He's playing the next night. That's really interesting. And then as you're playing, and for Moonlight Sonata, very different. So
Wait. Can you repeat what you said about the Moonlight Sonata? I think when you bring your mic a little bit closer and you make sure that you talk in one direction, it's catching the sound. Wow. You can even raise the gain. This is my top technology, what I'm sharing with you right now.
checking the pattern on the Yahtzee. That's it.
Yes, the problem is that when you are talking, sometimes it's super good and then you just disappear. And we see you talking, but we cannot hear you. Or am I the only one having this problem? No? Okay.
Same problem here.
Same problem here too.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback.
Checking the sound direction on the Yahtzee. I have it at the forward one. That should be the correct one.
Mm-hmm. You can just remove the Yeti and use the built-in mic. It's fine.
Yeah. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with the old-fashioned. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're asking me about podcasts. So yeah, I was just saying that it helps when you're learning a piece, because then you can have someone that, someone analyzes it, and you can go through it. And it's a bit of the Cliff Notes version, isn't it? It's like the short way of doing it, because you got a podcast that's like 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and they're going to go through everything in that time. So maybe it's me trying to be uber efficient as well, because somebody's kind of done the work already. And so I can listen to them. So I think the Wigmore Hall recordings by Andres Schiff, those are interesting if you like Beethoven. There is a podcast called Sonata Secrets. So I guess the guy's a professional pianist. He does all different types of music, all different composers. He's got Rachmaninoff in there. He's got Mozart. He's got the usual Haydn, and he does a lot as well. So that's also quite interesting. And then there's the Beethoven Files, which just focuses on Beethoven. So that's also nice. But I think Sonata Secrets is a good one. If you're, whatever you're playing, you can find something in there.
Yes, I agree. And these guys did all the research. So you don't need to read hundreds of books and decide if it's true or not, if it's reliable or not. They did it. So you can trust them.
The only problem, Nora, is they keep talking about diminished chords and all these augmented things that we haven't learned in music theory yet. So we need to catch it up with the music theory class.
Yes. Yeah, I still need to decide on which day we start the school year, but it's on my to-do list. Yes, and we definitely have to talk about the diminished chords, because in classical music, especially for the sonatas, especially for Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, and also in the Romantic era, the diminished chord is something magic, because you never know what comes after. This chord can resolve to 8 different chords. And it's 8 chords. It's a lot. So yeah, I took a note. And another thing, so you are not listening to only classical music, right? No. What else you listen to?
Okay, well, I'll probably listen to more classical piano now than before, because just as part of learning pieces. I listen to about everything, so there's not like a particular genre I don't listen to, except that music you like, that kind of, what is that, European house thing that he listens to. I'm not a big fan, but yeah, I mean, I listen to, like Kathy was talking about, Gaga. I like how you called it Gaga, and Bruno Mars. So I would listen to him, Britney Spears, all that type of very poppy kind of stuff. I used to listen to a lot of heavy metal when I was younger, so I like rock music. I mean, everybody likes Metallica, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just like music. It just has like Kathy, it has a uplifting effect for me, and I can connect to it. And when I'm listening to music or enjoying it, and it just doesn't matter what it is, I always feel different afterwards. And it's, when you're not feeling great, you can find something to listen to for that. And when you want to be in a better place of mind, there's something that can take you on that journey as well.
Ah, beautiful. Yes, exactly. And when I'm working on something, when I'm writing something, I listen to electronic music. Because with classical music, the problem is that I start to listen to the music, not just hear it. And I'm like, oh, I should play this piece. Oh, it's so nice. Same thing with jazz. So I'm not focusing on what I'm doing. I'm focusing on the music. But with electronic music, you don't have this problem, because it just puts you on a trail or a rail, and you're just doing what you want to do, and it's there. It's giving some extra energy. So I'm so glad to hear all of you talking about, I don't have a favorite. I listen to this, I listen to that. That's an open-minded community. I'm very proud of you. So what's next? Okay, we will listen to the Moonlight Sonata, but after that, what are your plans for piano playing? You always have a plan.
For me, well, do you want the plan that we talked about, or the new plan that's hatching?
Oh my God, you have a new plan.
So yeah, we've got Jasmine Flower to finish, and then Beethoven's third movement of the Pathetic Sonata. So that's been going for the year. So I want to finish those two. I would like to go back to finish Chopin's Nocturne in, what is it? Probably C minor, I think. That we had started. Yeah, so I'd like to do that. And then there are a couple of waltzes by Chopin that I would like to go with. But you'll tell me which order. And I haven't forgotten the Rachmaninoff in
Oh,
June.
okay.
We need to figure out how we're going to spend the year
Yes, Rachmaninoff.
next.
After Jasmine Flower, we can do it.
Trying to get
And
out
I
of
go- yeah.
trying to get out of C sharp minor.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You played an etude in C sharp minor, Moonlight Sonata is in C sharp minor, and the Chopin Nocturne is in C sharp minor. So now you are professional with 4 sharps, and we can move on. Great. Thank you, Renata. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And now we are going to listen to your Moonlight Sonata. Wonderful. Thank you. I hope all of you noticed the end of the piece. She's there and guiding us to the last note and beyond. Wonderful. Oh, thank you. Whew, okay. So after these beautiful harmonies and melodies, we are going to discover a completely different word. And now I'm changing the order, and we don't start with the music. We start with the performer. So Kurt, if you are ready,
Hello.
join us. I put you on the stage. Look at that. Wow.
Hmm?
Hello. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Sunshine and summer. That's the real summer
Yeah.
concert. So before talking about the pieces you play, I would like to follow up with the project what you were talking about at the previous concert. It's a project where the audience can influence the music in real time, which is played on the stage. So please tell us about it. How is it going?
So yeah, in short, it's a visual together with music. So there's I told you last time, but just a small recap of small reminder. So we have a string orchestra which is playing a fixed score, music score, and the cellist has to improvise, but he's getting kind of a music sheet, which is a visual music sheet telling him about the speed or the tempo or high notes or no notes or both. So there's some kind of direction in which he can improvise. And that's purely influenced by the audience. So the audience has an app, they come into this concert, they have to download the app or start the application, and they can kind of play that game of influencing the cellists. And meanwhile, there's also a visualization where you fly over the world, and the story that's been told that evening depends on the audience, on how they react and what they want to go, which direction they want to fly, how they want to see the world. It's a 5-chapter um, um, story about the world going like in all kinds of directions, about the influence of artificial intelligence on our society and how these things behave. And that's basically how it works. So it's going well right now. We have most of the stuff done. The music has been written by a Belgian composer. It's Matthias Koppens. He's busy in I think Los Angeles as well, very often. It was originally planned to go live in November this year. We have some technical issues, so now it's planned and it's already well. It will start. The premiere will be on the 24th of April next year. So the music has to be written, the application has to be finished, but it will be online, and I mean, it's already scheduled, so we just have to move on and make sure we have something working by then.
And the music sheet, what the cellist
Yeah.
sees, it's not a traditional music sheet,
No.
right? It's not the 5 lines, clefs
No.
and things. So what
No.
is that he sees?
We're still testing a few ideas. Um, we ha we have something that resembles a bit the music sheets, like we have it, but more with lines and colors. We're also playing with the idea of having like a hexagon, where the middle part is what you have to play, and from each side another parameter is coming in. Like from the top, the tempo is coming in, and from the sides, the high low notes have to come in. Then on the other side, it's shown where you have to play legato, staccato, whatever, and so you have the different parameters flowing in the center of sheets. But that's still something we have to figure out how we can do it best. So it's a bit of difficulty.
Yes, yes, because in the audience, the people not necessarily can read the music or write the music.
No,
So you
no,
have to come up
they
with
will not see
something.
it. They will not
Yes.
see it as well. They will see a completely different view as well. So
Okay.
they don't see the music sheet of the cellist. They do something different. So they have a kind of a small mini game inside it. And if we have the time, there might be an opportunity for someone to be picked out to solo control the cellist for like 10 or 15 seconds. So depending on what you do and how things behave, you might get the opportunity. And then the system will ask, will you, do you want to do it? Because not everybody wants to do it. If say, yes, I want to do it, then there's a countdown from 10 to 0, and then you have like 15 seconds of solo control over the cellist,
Wow.
which is kind of
So
fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. So you really need to see the elements of music and how to visualize it, how to change it, and how to
Yeah.
visualize the changing. Ah,
Yeah. And meanwhile, you have the world being projected, like this 3D world where you fly, and it changes as well depending on what the audience is doing. So it's pretty cool.
okay. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
next year, April.
April next year. I think I have the link somewhere. Let me check. But it's in Brussels, so the first one is in Brussels, and then probably in Bruges as well. And I don't know what's next then. So these will be the first ones coming on. So it's fun. Like, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think marriage. It's true. It's like these art and thing AI coming together. But in this case, like the influence of the audience is really big, and that's a big challenge to get this streamlined and working properly. But it's challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes. I was thinking about it like, oh, guys, we are just losing because I attended to a webinar when we learned how to compose music for movies. And we used digital audio workstation. For this, you don't need to know how to write music. It's like quite intuitive. And I was like, oh, we are losing the skill of music writing and music reading. But then I was thinking, in the Renaissance, they did not write music how we write music nowadays. So it's changing pretty much when we can really conserve the information, what is conserved in the music sheet. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
But yeah, so interesting, so interesting.
And actually, there's now a university in Flanders which has the courses of non-linear music, which is about normally you have the sheet where everything is like fixed, and they learn how to make music for games and stuff, because that's really on non-linear, because things happen during the game and then you have to change the music, and it has to be fluently and work out fine. And they have a whole like 3-year course about this non-linear music thing going on, and they are slightly involved in the project as well. Like how can you make this work?
Okay, so your crew is quite.
It's not my crew.
wide.
It's not my project. It's Matthias's project.
Captain
It's not
Kurt,
my
come
project.
on.
Yeah, I'm only
So
doing
you
some
are part
technical stuff. Yeah, I'm not only
Okay.
doing some technical stuff. That's the thing. I'm not doing the music stuff and all these things.
Okay.
So,
So what do you do exactly?
My biggest part in the project is making sure that the AI system itself works fine. So having the right algorithms in place, and that's one part, and then connecting the human input with the visuals, what has to be shown, I don't program what has to be shown. That's again another course, another university that's doing that part, which is specialized in 3D animations, and they are doing that. I just give them the parameters which they have to follow. So depending on the user inputs, you have the algorithm. That's basically my part, and then the two outputs. One is going to the cellists, the visual score, and the other one is the parameters for the 3D animation being projected.
Okay, I
So
see.
like the engine between everything is mainly my part.
Wow. So you need to have insights in 3D, in nonlinear music, in traditional music, and all these things a little bit.
A little bit, only a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know nothing about everything. That's the thing.
Yes. Okay. And whose idea was it at the first place?
That's Matthias Koppens. That's a pianist composer.
Mhm.
So he came up with the idea. He was looking for some people, mainly technical people, because the string orchestra that was like fixed, he already had one. And he was looking for more the technical part for some persons to help him along with the thing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fascinating. And what about your musical ideas? What are the musical styles you prefer, the sounds, the composers?
I think it's again the same answer. I don't have really a favorite thing. It depends on the mood and what you do and what's the aim for the music at that point. So that's a pretty hard one. But when I have to choose favorite things, it's things that are a bit, I don't know, how do you say it? It's kooky or outwardly, psychotic. I don't know, something weird. It's something that um it has to tell a kind of a story, but not the typical story. I don't know. Alice in Wonderland, like kind of stories, like
Oh, dat is een
weird
film.
things should happen,
Dat is een film.
and it should put you a little bit off guard.
Mhm.
Pure musically, that's one thing. Or on the other hand, it can be just playing, I mean, 80s, 90s music, but with some, I don't know, deep rooted lyrics. I'm thinking of Eddie Vedder, Nick Cave kind of stuff, which
Mhm.
makes, I mean, they have, the lyrics are mostly pretty deep in their songs. And it's cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's the motto of this concert. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have a favorite. Just
Yeah.
give me a situation, give me a mood, and I can tell you what I listen to, but not favorite. Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And tell us about your repertoire, what you play today.
Okay, that's
It's Bartók, Hungarian
it's
composer, and the story is interesting.
so we always have to choose something, and then Nora comes up with some ideas, and then you choose one. And I really like these ones. There are two, because I don't know why, but I immediately with each of the two had to visualize. I could visualize them. The first one, I think the first one, I don't know the order. To me, and this will sound pretty weird, but it's like a hyperdimensional butterfly coming to our world. I mean, that's the first one. It's like you hear the beat of the universe or our dimensions, I don't know. And then on top of that, you hear the butterfly coming into the world, and it's pretty funny when you hear it like that. And it's, yeah, it just sometimes the butterfly is there and then it's gone again and it comes back and then it stays longer and it goes out again. And that's, I really think that's a really, really funny piece. The next one is, I don't know if it's really a story, it's just the feeling of being seasick. And that's it. I mean, you have the waves, and that's like the low notes are like the waves, and they are pretty much the same. And sometimes there are small variations. And on top of that, it's your body that tries to get the same rhythm like the waves, or the same I don't know, like align with the waves, and it just doesn't work, and then you get seasick. It just doesn't work. You can't align with rhythm of the waves, and then it goes. I mean, every time you think, okay, I'm almost there, it's fine, it goes bad again. So that's how it is for the seasickness. Yeah,
Yes, it
that's
is
it.
like that. And about the second piece, the video part is
Yeah.
kind of my creation. So, as I told you, I'm not a Spielberg, but I had to do something. And you will have some visualization with the seasickness.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so as
Okay.
you heard, it was super, super interesting.
Okay,
And
thank
now
you.
we will hear your Bartók pieces. Aha. Yeah, it was so nice. It's so good to hear some Hungarian music. Yes, so we reached the end of our concert. Now I'm the only one who haven't played yet. So now it's time for me to share a video with you. And I recorded a piano concerto, first movement, written by Mozart. So the piano concerto is written for orchestra and a soloist. Normally, the soloist is the star and the orchestra follows. But since I had to download the orchestra part and play the piano part after, it was very, very challenging to find my time as a soloist. So I was following the orchestra at this situation. When you listen to this piano concerto, you will hear a very, very long introduction, and I won't play at all because the orchestra starts the conversation. And if you listen very carefully, you can catch some melodies or some movements in the low registers, which will come back later. And they come back in the piano part as well. So after that, it's a beautiful conversation between the orchestra and the piano. By the way, the concerto word comes from an Italian word. Concerto means to play together, to do something in a group, and to work together for something which is bigger than us. So I hope you will like it. It's the piano concerto in D minor. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this concert and I hope you had fun while preparing for the concert. And I would like to say a big thank you to my students because it's a pleasure to teach you and to lead you on this musical journey. And it was a pleasure to listen to all of you. It was so nice. I'm very proud of you. And thank you for your time and energy, what you invested in these recordings, because I know that it takes a lot of time and you need to create the environment and it's a lot of focus and energy. So thank you very much and have a nice evening. And if you want to share anything, don't hesitate to just raise your virtual hands and unmute yourself. But I stopped the recording now. So thank you for listening.
You for